Hey, what's up? It's your boy Bobby Sapphire, and I am here with the KTOD because it's Sunday morning, very early, and we're podcast. It's the 20th episode of KTOD Radio, Justin. That is so many.
So many, and I am just so excited about the game right now. We've got pack opening on the horizon with a couple weeks from now getting set 3. I can barely wait.
Yeah, and I should have put Twilight instead of Twilight hot takes, just like Twilight hype. Maddie, you are hyped for set 3.
Yeah, man, I'm wicked hyped. I've been getting some early play testing in, and I think that's gonna be pretty spicy.
And Steve, shrouded in darkness down there, like Palpatine, like influencing Jar Jar to blow up the Senate. How you doing?
Bro,
you doing down
I
there in
get
the
so
dark?
sick of people. I get so sick of people screenshotting my face and turning me into a meme that I had to go dark. It's just
He's going full dark
enough
side.
is enough.
Yeah, that is true shrouded in darkness behavior.
He's like the Sidious Palpatine leader. He's flipping back and forth from darkness, but he's staying on the dark side.
I like it. All right, so quick update on us. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're seeing this, but if you're listening to us on a podcast, we also do this as a YouTube video. We've got over 6,000 subscribers, 162 videos. We post videos every Monday and Thursday about Star Wars Unlimited competitive gaming. You can check out my pre-release guide that I posted on Thursday. Check out my Ahsoka Tano poll. I've got her right here. And if you're looking for pre-release content before pre-release weekend, it's a good spot to go. Also, you can check out KTOD Maddie's YouTube channel with the sick thumbnails. He's the best thumbnails in the game. Even better
Shout
than
out
our
to
boy
Symbiote.
Bailed Shot. Yeah, shout out to Sim.
Although I did the last two on my own, but he like him putting me on Dooku and just like all the other ridiculous things he kills it. But yeah. Usually uploads on
Karate Kid
Tuesdays.
image is insane.
Yeah, the Karate Kid one
You're
is
doing the
sick.
crane,
I
like,
think
oh,
the Happy Gilmore one is insane. Even before I even realized that Kevin Nealon is me. Like,
Yeah.
Maddie as Adam Sandler. And then, but I'm rushing it with that forehead.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of forehead there.
My hood on.
Yeah, that's the fun one. Almost at 1K subs. So if you're not sub, check it out.
Yeah, give Maddie a
It's
sub.
a good hang. Yeah, get me to 1K, baby.
And then our podcast is now sponsored by Metal Fab Tokens. Justin, you were just showing off your sick Metal Fab Tokens that you have.
Yeah, I'm going to do it again right now.
Steve
We
has
got
mine.
the sweet set right here, brand new. Still trying to get used to the whole sort of setup with how it goes in the sweet case, but there's some new ones, these bounty ones.
Yeah, B-Flow actually messaged me after the Thursday pod to talk to me about this. If you guys didn't know, we do a Thursday podcast for subscribers only, and he said that those tokens with the symbols on them, they're kind of like left over from the Destiny days, but basically just if you like a special character like Django or Boba, like you just have that to be your anything thing. Like, it could be your epic action token, it can be your hand token. He just threw you a lot of extra stuff, and he has something cooking. I don't even know if I can announce yet, but
I was just gonna say, are we gonna talk?
I don't know if we can, but I'll say this: if you like set 3 tokens and you think clone troopers and battle droid tokens,
no
are
way,
cool,
dude,
maybe you should keep an eye out for metal.
Keep an eye out.
Those.
There is a problem with the Metal
This is
Fab
the first
stuff.
I'm hearing this.
Yeah, it's too nice.
Well, no, it's like it makes you a worse player because you're just like always wanting to claim.
Yeah, you just want to play with your cool stuff. Yeah.
I keep it in my deck box, but I have a Confederation of Independent Starships one of these that he sent me, and it's like my favorite one. It's purple. It's got the cis symbol.
This
I
is
use it all the
father
time.
and son, which is crazy.
Yeah,
because it's
cool.
Django and
Yeah,
Boba.
man, he kills it. I can't. Yeah,
these are the
the stuff for set 3 too is like
every time I use them, people are like, "These are so good," and Steve has mine, so I miss them.
I do, but thank you. I appreciate that. Those
Actually,
other
before we even
pink
get to
ones were like
Worlds,
driving me nuts.
boys, I sent you packages in the mail. Could we get them out?
Yeah, what's in
Thank
here?
God.
I wasn't sure. What is this? Is this
It's a mystery.
Halloween
I am
package.
not good with surprises or patience.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you didn't get one, Maddie?
awkward?
Just like an original.
Steve, you got one.
KTOD
I got it right here.
Well,
I got
why
one.
don't you guys open those?
You guys got packages?
Yeah, you didn't get a package.
Yeah, bro.
All right, let's find out what's in them though.
Hold on.
Steve, open yours.
Hey, did I get a package?
That's gonna go over
my
real well.
autobiography.
Oh yeah,
Like
the kid. I don't know if you heard it. I tried to mute as best I could. My kid
let's
is.
It's
go,
Twilight.
baby.
Twilight the Republic
Wait,
pack.
you have Twilight packs?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I sent everyone a pack.
Actually, I have
Oh, I
two.
don't,
Oh no!
You got
I see
two?
what I did. Oh,
Did I
sent
get
Justin
Maddie's pack?
pack.
Oh
I always
no.
thought you were the favorite Justin, but
Oh,
now
well.
I'm glad the proof is finally out there.
oh man.
No.
All right. Well,
Wait,
we're gonna open
wait,
these live
wait.
on camera.
Justin, you should
Thanks, bro.
denominate one pack that's for me then.
No, I'm good.
So wait, are these like the cracked out content creator packs?
They
Is there a
are.
showcase in one of these?
I hear that there's a showcase. Nope. I got a
Got
Ventress.
a Dooku. Is he rare?
Ooh. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hold on. What do I have over here? I have some OP
No
packs
showcase.
from the PQ.
Old
got
accessories.
a-
I think that's
Obi-Wan?
I'll
New
open
base.
some
Oh, that
PQ
was
packs.
cool.
Oh,
Some OP
Ooh,
packs.
Steve, I got a foil for the cube probably.
Ooh.
nice.
Ooh,
Oh,
breaking it. How good a card is that? That's such a cool art.
Yeah. I got Pow
This
City.
one's on my-
I lose. I lose.
Oh,
This one's
no.
This one's on my top 10.
Is this Maddie's pack you're opening, Justin?
Yeah, the bad ones for me. Hey, I got an IG.
I got foil Knight of the Republic, Steve.
Oh, I got a foil Rush Clovis.
Ooh.
nice.
That could be
So
a
much
huge
Russian, so much
Yeah.
Clovis.
card, which actually we've been seeing might
Oh, the
see some-
Defensive Camino?
Anyone get a legendary?
That's an interesting card.
No legends yet.
I did. Yes, I did get a legendary.
What'd you get?
Oh, sick.
The Invasion of Christophus.
Oh, nice.
That's sick.
And then I got
Hyperspace Mall is
Foil.
cool.
Oh, hyperspace.
That's
Mall
pretty
is
It's
awesome.
okay, but it's
I
a
got
cool one.
I got a Falcon for my my decks. No one cares about OP packs though.
Yeah, Maddie, your
No.
pack wasn't very good.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah. Well, the beauty is you just pick which one sucks.
you got a
You should have the
foil.
boys open it there. If I, what was it,
There you go.
Henry?
Oh,
Like
man,
he
Henry would have. Henry
opened some
would have.
legends.
He would have. We would these. There would have been legends. No showcases though. We have yet to open a showcase.
No showcase.
We're due. We're due.
Did you open both packs?
Though. That's pretty hot. All right. Next thing I'm hyped about, the Worlds announcement. I still have to get confirmation for you guys, but we have a suite at the Palazzo lined up. I'm pretty hyped about our suite. It looks insane.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas,
We're gonna have
baby.
to do the cribs KTOD cribs edition.
Oh no, there will definitely be TikToks coming from that.
The
Is there
prodigal
going to be a
son
tiger?
returns.
Is it going to be like the Hangover, or Maddie's gonna?
So
guys, I prepared a few words.
we have a travel agent in the server, and he was like, "So if we want to look at Caesars, those are the suites where the Hangover happened." And I was like,
that's
"Ooh,
cool.
Actually, I do want to know what the price of those were.
Yeah.
We should definitely do it. Screw it.
Just go all out, ball out. Well, Steve
Why
used to
not?
live in Vegas and used to play a lot of poker at the Venetian.
Yeah, the
I've
Venetian was my go-to.
been to the Venetian.
They were the
I've been to
first,
Venetian. It's nice.
This was I'm so old that they were the first poker room with chargers at the table, like power
What?
strips,
Ah,
so you could your
smart.
device and play. Yeah.
Well, we'll be there. We'll have special stuff for all our subscribers. So if you
Yep.
want to get on the KTOD train of dominance before then, we definitely, Justin's been cooking up some swag, and we will be doling it out at the. At
I
Worlds.
can say that the swag that I'm working on, because I am sort of the lead on KTOD swag, so de
You're
facto.
the swag man, swag master.
Secret
Swag that I'm making for Worlds is my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing we've done.
Sick.
Like it'll be something that it's kind of something that like I want, and now I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna do it to everyone.
That's the best stuff.
That's
It's like
the-
same with
yeah.
the content. You make the stuff that you want, and other people are gonna want that too, because the energy.
That includes the backpack,
Yeah, you
Mhm.
love the backpack.
No,
and the
wait,
coins
backpack
are
is
everyone's
so
getting a
sick.
backpack?
and everyone's not getting backpack.
That
but
would
I
be-
hate this matter.
We'd be bankrupt if everyone.
As
we
was
haven't
CFO, I
seen-
am over-
We'll probably do a
I'm
bunch of stuff for
vetoing that
Worlds,
one.
but we haven't
Yeah.
seen whatever Justin's cooking up yet. So I'm
Yeah, and
excited.
it's a
Yeah, I'm
straight
excited,
surprise.
man.
All I said to Mike, I said I need a number, and then
Yeah,
once
I'm
that
worried.
number's made, I'm just gonna. He's Mike and Maddie and Steve are gonna open it right when the crew gets the thing. You'll get like maybe a day before, but
Yeah, maybe
Am I gonna
maybe
get
the
mad?
podcast before we unveil them to drive
Yeah,
the hype.
make sure that this package gets to me, please.
All right, we'll see.
yeah. How do you spell KTOD? That's what I make sure. That's
All right, it's time to talk about PQs, and the
Yeah,
PQs
baby.
this weekend were there were 6 on Saturday, so we're recording this Sunday morning. There are 4 more today, including San Francisco, and I think there's 2 in the USA. But
yep.
um,
San Fran. Good luck to our boy B-Flow. Actually, he's battling today.
Oh, all right. You might have magically noticed that PQ Portland changed to Boba Yellow because I realized I didn't update the slide when I got that data.
Oops.
But we'll see. Because I was about to say, only 3 Bobas win and no Boba Green wins so far on Saturday. But 2
Wow.
Red Rays, 2
Ban
Boba
Red.
Reds. Ban
Yeah.
Ray. Boba Red actually won both non-American PQs that started the day. Like they're so far ahead, especially Melbourne. They were like
Oh,
basically
right.
done when we woke up. Actually, that thing went well into the night. They were saying that it ended at almost midnight Melbourne time. So, but both Boba Red space decks, and then in America we've got a Sabine Green, 2 Ray Reds, and Boba Yellow. And we've got a couple wins from our subscribers, which is pretty hyped.
Yeah, shout out to
them out.
Blake, Green Sabine.
Yeah.
And,
And he's in the tournament prep tier, so like,
Yeah,
he invested a little more in this season, and it paid
Actually,
off, and
he's in
that's
the
like really cool to
playtesting
see.
tier. We have an entire tier
Yeah.
just for people who want to take playtesting more seriously.
Yep.
The tournament prep tier is a different tier for those following KTOD tier
Right.
news. But
We got a lot of tiers.
there is a tier where people like are there to playtest with each other, basically form an internet team. And Blake is part of that, and he took one down. It's pretty hype.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
able
that's sick.
to tap into Chrono and Tada. He played their exact 60 from last week.
Right.
I think actually 59 out of 60, I believe. There might have been like a one change. But it was the Bright Hope no Darksaber list that we found to be reasonable into Green Boba. Not favored, but felt like you had a fighter's chance. And I was sick that he won. And he came right to the Discord and he was like, "Hey guys, I won it. I took one down." It was like kind of celebratory. We were
Yeah,
pumped.
that's cool, man.
Facts. I'm gonna shout him out now since we're talking about him. I'll have to go backwards on my
I
slides.
love the naming convention too.
But-
That's a KTOD.
Yeah, he
yeah.
kept the
so
naming.
he sent it to me, and he's like Darksaber Sabine, and then he sent me the updated list 2 seconds later with like, "Oh, I changed the name for you, no Darksaber Sabine." I was like,
No,
nah,
don't
nah,
change
nah.
it. You got to keep
Right.
It's gotta stay. It's gotta stay
Yeah.
Darksaber Sabine, because even the absence of the Darksaber is as potent as the
Yep.
fact that people run it. So this was the
Yeah,
list.
because they can't know.
Shout out to
you know.
Blake. Really happy that someone in the playtesting tier won one. Like that means a lot. That like I always not stressed about it, but I always want our subs to be getting the value that they want, and for
Right.
him to take one down makes me feel a lot better about everything we do. So, but yeah, this is the hot KTOD list. He said that the one of Sundari Peacekeeper was huge in the top. Cause I
Sick.
can't remember if he said it was the finals or the semifinals.
I think he said finals. That card probably should, just be emphasized more with all the Boba Red space
Right.
decks.
Yep.
It's just making he wrote or someone wrote in our Discord that it makes Falcon attack for 1, which is
Yeah,
like offsetting
that's
it
Yep.
with a
Yep.
right now. I was like, it's a cool analogy.
to
Although
think
I
of
love
it,
that
yeah.
way to evaluate cards, where you kind of like, yeah, this is this situation. It's the situation that it presents, not necessarily
Right.
like the fact that it's a 1/5.
Yep.
and it gets experience tokens from your Dark Save.
Ooh, awkward.
All
All right, and then the other person in our that's too far. Diomedes, Discord member, won with Ray Red in Indianapolis, so that's super hype.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, love Ray. Actually, like, feel even more vindicated this week that like I think Ray is really good. I had some conversations with people at the 1K yesterday that I swung by about just like why I think Ray's so good at the hero mid-range thing, because of the way these guys are all understated. Trading is the name of the game, and if you can't trade, that's why a lot of these hero decks get run over, and she makes it so people can trade. I'm actually like still even more hyped on her than even like Yoda in a deck like this, like
Right.
if I'm gonna be battling with units, I think Ray is still the number one hero.
I like that the Discord members winning, you see like the traces of the Discord helping. Like you see
Yep.
the Jedi lightsaber there. You're like, that's something that Mike, I think you kind of initiated, and then it got to the masses, and you guys have talked about it. CJ originally being like, what if we cut Darksaber and we'll get Bright Hopes, and then me and Tada kind of working on the list to encourage going up to 3 fighters for freedom. Looking at the last list, like that's sort of a KTOD mark right there. So
yeah, I
cool
think
to see
I
these
think with the Red
conversations.
Ray, it's possible they were always on Saber. I don't know, because I jumped on the Red Ray.
Rodney Stubbs was
He
on Saber, but a lot of people weren't. But it's like the collaboration thing Justin said of like, like everyone coming together, like, he did his deck report. Mike got in the thread, started making his changes. It is cool to see like the little thumbprint,
Yeah, and so the other thing to say is the other Red Ray was won by Nick the Bug, who I didn't have his list. The Phoenix PQ ended late, and no one dropped it for me in the morning. But so I was going to shout out Rodney,
Right.
for his deck guide that we have for sale on our Patreon, and then also like if you're just a member, you get it for free. But
Yeah.
we've sold like maybe 8 of these. Someone bought it yesterday too. It's $4 and a subscription's $5. So I think if we went through this, he probably had the lightsaber in from the jump. But I think like some of these decks started at the Forces with Me. I mean, they're all over the place. But
Yeah.
I will say like this thread, the Ray Red thread, over the last couple weeks because of Rodney's guide has really popped off. And then also we've seen, I think this is numbers 4 and 5 Red Ray PQ winners.
Right.
So it's been pretty awesome seeing the evolution not only of the deck but its place in the meta.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It was like out the gates for set 2, it was like the hotness and everyone kind of played it, and then it kind of went away for a while, and it is funny, like between like his success and the deck guide and like the way the meta shifted, all of a sudden it just kind of shot right back up to taking some down.
I'll say this: the deck threads are my favorite thing about the Discord, and the new leaders popping in and like set 3, like seeing the things start up, like the Yoda deck thread and the Watt Tembler deck thread and the Quinlan deck thread. I wish two of these leaders were a little bit more like recognizable characters, but it's fun to like start brewing and start thinking about like what's good and what's who's the 4-drop villain leader. She's like really low stated, but she's got first strike.
Asajj.
Like that's when I've been interested in. I'm just like poking in. Like, all right, has anybody got something with her? Like, she's kind of cool. You could put a cunning, you could make her a 7 attack with cunning and first strike. That seems cool. Like, what can we do with these things? So it's fun to see the creative side on it.
I love those too, and I love that like we get so pigeonholed. We're working on our thing. We're trying to make our deck work. Sometimes it takes a day. Sometimes it takes a week. But when you're ready to find something new, there's already a thread and there's already people cooking. I remember that's how I felt after Steve kind of like brought the Blu-ray to our attention, and I went back to Ferrando's like OG thread that I hadn't thought about in so long, and just like caught up, and everyone's like, "Hey, welcome, it's like welcome to our clubhouse. Do you want to like learn all the things we've learned?" It's such an awesome part, and actually like shout out to Just Jack. He was on the PQ stream at the Bucketheads yesterday in late night, and he was just shouting out the deck threads too, like giving us a shout, and
oh, sick.
it was really nice of him to do that.
KTOD Cribs, it's like a deck thread. Remember the show MTV Cribs?
Yeah.
KTOD deck threads, call them Cribs.
Dude,
right.
The deck threads are
now we can
tight.
talk about these Boba Yellow lists. It's interesting to see.
Boba Red.
Oh, sorry, Boba Red list. Sorry. Interesting to see for me, like what space and what discard these guys go with. Like, only one Bazine here. I would imagine, like, if I was playing Lurking Tie, I would think like Bazine is such an important part. But
to
also,
defend it,
like the winner here, I didn't get the name, but he's obviously playing the 3/1 drops to just sort of like go insanely aggro on it and not really care about the discard.
Well, the big thing here is no Tarkin Town, but still daring raid, and then you're able to go like instead of going Tarkin Town, you're able just to play a unit and trade potentially. So like the Stormtrooper could trade with a Battlefield Marine, but if it takes a hit to like an ECL Cassian or something like that against Sabine or a Boba unit or something like that, you could use Daring Raid to finish these things off. So pretty unique take. I remember when we were first looking at this list for pre-Gen Con, we were super high on the Triple Dark decks. I mean, we probably unfortunately tested way too much into Ray and gave up on them.
Right.
But we went to 30-point base just because we recognized like that extra 5 buff when you're racing is like so huge.
So huge, yeah. Especially if they're at 25, you're just like, yep.
Right, and you're able just to jam in. But this list looks awesome, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like he's just like splashing like a little bit, and even the Xanadu blood just for like that extra 6 attack is so strong. And so it gives
the Boba's armor
to do
the Boba's armor to be like +8 because it's like you get the 2, but then your Boba's like definitely not going to die, so that's an extra 6. Yep. It's like actually like, it can be 6 more because the Boba not dying is like the extra 4 that you would have gotten, and then the extra 2 the next turn, and then the extra 2 the first time. So it's really like +8.
And you're still very agile with all the low drops. So like you can sometimes when you have to kind of go all in on your leader a little bit, it can kind of make things feel clunky. But the way he has the spread in here, like you can still do the Boba's armor and kind of advance your board state as well, which I like, because like you're probably going face, like it's such a good proposition, right? 6, like your leader being like a 12. damage burn spell. Like it's kind of cracked, but Boba does Boba things, and then the space packages is really nice.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like if this deck perpetuates and if it runs the Geonosis fighter as like more bounce for
because then you have
for
interaction
5,
while
you get rid of
developing.
you get rid of a 1-drop that already attacked for a turn and maybe is going to get bricked, but you're gonna get in another arena.
Right.
I just like that bounce anything kind of waylay effect.
Yeah.
And then the one in Melbourne.
Force.
Sorry, what's up?
I was gonna say I think I like the force chokes a lot because like thinking about how tempo-y that can be when you're space and everyone else is ground, like it's just nice little removal. I think the downside of the draw is kind of mitigated by the fact that you're focusing on space.
Yeah, and all the space is also really cheap. So like, even those big 6-drops, like a lot of times you're just going to pop them with triple dark, especially when you need to force choke something. So yeah, I think force choke is such even though it's like in every red deck that there's not a lot of red villain in the meta, and when a deck can pop off using force choke, it's so strong. The Melbourne winner did go Tarkin Town, and they have no Bazine anywhere in the 60, and they have 3 Fang Fighters and also a couple sneak attacks here.
I like sneak attack because like you get a thing with triple dark, and then like sometimes if you want to do like an early triple dark, you can't like replay it right away. Whereas like you can go like triple dark, play it next turn, sneak attack it, let it die. Especially with Ruthless Raider, you like want it to die anyway, so. It just kind of like facilitates a pretty insane combo, which I like. I think that's pretty sick.
This looks good too. I mean, honestly, both lists look really good. Like the Boba Reds it's kind of cool. I don't know if we can take credit for that list. We certainly talked about it early on, and then we just let it die for a while. But it's cool to see that this is definitely like a player in the meta.
Yeah, I agree. I think even though like a lot of people discover these lists all at the same time, it's nice that you put this out there as a list that you thought was going to be really good. And
we said did we break it? And I think maybe we broke it like 4 months.
Yeah, it's funny. The thumbnail was "We broke SWU," and then like the deck kind of went under the radar till the end of the meta, and then like people kind of rediscovered it, and it's like, oh shit, it's hitting a ton of events and like top 8ing. Like it's cool.
And a lot
it's
of
bad against, if I recall, it was bad against like yellow.
Right. But then when it exactly.
So this is like really good against green.
A healthy game, and I know like people love to crap on the game because of all the boba, but like when you like a deck like this that we knew was good and a lot of people knew was good, sometimes it just needs its weekend. And we talk about that from time to time, but like when the weekend pops, it's there. And yeah, bounce does keep a lot of stuff out of the meta. My problem with Boba is only that like he's the best villain leader with every base. Like there's really no reason to go a different.
Yeah, if you're gonna go yellow
colors,
X, he is the best, and so that I think that's a great point, Mike. Like that's the problem is like when he's making it so you're not playing any other one, like that kind of hurts.
Like Jabba or Cad could be good, but they're just not.
And if
they're just not. It's like
it's more the percentage of like villain lists to Boba than it is like wins to Boba to me.
Right.
Anyway, I don't want to exacerbate a
conversation. The other 3 is all hero because I'd say it's Sabine, Han, and then Rey. Right. The other 3 decks that are winning PQs are all hero.
Right, and then Kira is the only other villain list that's sort of like pops, and it doesn't have yellow, so it makes sense. Like if you're going to play blue-green control, like Kira probably the best
is the
leader
ticket
there.
Has Kira won a PQ yet?
Yeah,
Kyle Kraft.
One of our subs did it.
Oh yeah, Kyle.
No way, really? Crafton?
Yeah,
that's wild.
It was a Kira final.
Yeah, it was Kira 30 versus Kira ECL, and
Kyle Kraft loves qualifying for Day 1 of Worlds.
That's his move.
Yeah, he does.
And nuts. Then we have the Portland PQ winner. Shout out to Loopy for sending me this list. He said he didn't send it to anyone else, but I don't like to squirrel lists away, so I made sure to post it publicly. But yeah,
we don't squirrel.
Pretty clean. This has a lot of the things that I was doing. I love one of the things that I wanted to do with my list was like go space. He's got the lurking phantoms in the board, but what I wanted to say is I like the 3 Boba, 3 Toro. Like they're both really good, so just play them.
Bodhi in the board.
Yep, Bodhi in the board here.
That makes sense.
Like, I think that's a total meta call, and I like I like what he did, and yeah, you're just always playing a nigh unkillable 3-drop on turn 2.
Yep.
And I love the
Yeah,
spicy
really.
one of New Adventure.
Yeah, the one of is I like that because
Kinda
you can
like
do some
Boba's
kind of
armor.
broken stuff, but you don't want it to gum up your hand. So
Yeah,
I like it as a
Yeah,
miser.
there's spicy plays. If you draw at the right time, it's great. If not, it's a
Yep.
great resource.
Yeah, exactly.
You like 2 Boba armor, you said?
I like 3 just because I think the card's just like
Busted.
Backtracked, yeah.
busted when it happens, and I like cards like that. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but
Yeah,
I don't really see anything I would take out. The deck looks great.
We see a lot of lists kind of go like either 3 hotshot or 2 armor,
Yeah.
or the other way around. And I agree. I like 2 hotshot, 3 armor, but it kind of doesn't really matter if you like hotshot and you're winning games with hotshot Toro. Like, you should keep doing that.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, now we're going to talk about some cards we're hyped for, and I
Ooh.
started with mine.
Ooh.
I'm hyped for Steela Guerrera in set 3 because I love that. I mean, when Jabba, it's got spoiled like it's in the first set, but I love pulling tricks with Jabba. Justin, you love pulling tricks with Jabba. You've made a lot of lists that are like, let me pull some tricks. Well, if you like tricks, let me introduce you to tactics. Tactics are flippin' insane. And what I love about Steela Guerrera is a lot of times control decks struggle to have a unit that actually advances their game plan. And what a control deck wants to do is outvalue you. And what Steela does is she gives you these cards that they're often 1-for-1s, but because she found it for you for free or like for 2 damage on your base, you're getting a Fell the Dragon, a Takedown, a Vanquish, a Bombing Run, an Open Fire. You're getting something that kills something else, and she's going to take a card with her too, presumably.
Right.
At 3 health, she's probably not killing 2 things, but for the low cost of 2 damage on your base to get a full on removal card or a pump or a bounce card, I just think that she is incredible in terms of like what we can do with deck building and put in our hands.
She's also like in control decks. It is really solid in that, like, say you're playing against like villain control in the late game and like they drop a Devastator, like you can just steal a Fell. You know what I mean? Like that's a very reasonable turn that you can have. And now you have your unit and you've dealt with their thing. You're a little more agile. You could even play her in like Blue Han for 3. Like, yeah, she's a 4/1. Like but like, do you really care? Like you're just trying to.
Yeah.
So then she's a 4/1 for 3 that gets you, 2 highly impactful events. So
I like it here. The Death Rattle is really cool.
Yeah,
it gets to take like a removal, and you do 4 damage, but in those control mirrors, you're not really caring. So being able to outcard makes like discard a little better, like because you're not just like staying even with your discard. You're actually like pulling ahead 1 cards.
Yeah, and I really love that sort of the line Matt was alluding to, but just playing her in the late game is so great because you can play her on 8 resources and take a 4. You could take a Fell or a Takedown or something, and not only that, but in those control mirrors, you do have to win the game, and 4 attack is no slouch, and it does force them to deal with her while she already took one of their cards. So you're getting a little bit of a 2-for-1. So I really like her as a control card, and not to play her on turn 3, but to actually like use her late in the game. You can obviously play her on turn 3 if you don't have anything else to do and you want to build a board, and then be able to sit behind these. But I agree about Matt's point about Han too. It's just like getting her for even cheaper.
A 4/1 that does that, because like seeing all the space.
Sister.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like, what if you just like play her on turn 2 in Blue Han? Like, what do they do?
Dude, and there's some other, I don't think I see it here. There's another tactic that would go in the sideboard, which is Disruptive Burst, give each enemy -1/-1 till the end of the phase. So like now we're talking about fringe sideboard cards too, of like she can pull that against like a token deck.
Yeah.
So pretty sick. Great. I'm now looking through all the tactics too. Don't worry, I'm still here. Yeah. But like, and another thing I just wanted to bring up really quick was like we just saw those space decks pop up, right? Like Mike shows, like she pulls, make an opening for the TIE Phantom that's not going anywhere. That card's insane. So like,
and there are
I think it's a great call out, Mike. And one
I just pulled out a couple, but like there's tons of tactics.
Yeah. pillage is a tactic. So like,
Oh, it is.
there you go. Yeah. So like in Han, you could go like turn 2, Steela Guerrera, and then they like you pull the pillage, and they're just like,
Yeah.
what do I
Even
do
just
here?
having it, they
Yeah, but then
like,
you donkey pillaging on turn 3.
No, but
No,
you're
but
it's
you
you don't
don't
have to. You
because
just you could even
force their
resource
play,
it.
Yeah.
You just fuck with them.
I should say this is the segment where we talk about things we're hyped about for Twilight of the Republic.
Yeah.
I think I kind of glazed over that.
That's
one
okay.
of the things I'm
Bombing
hyped
run.
for is this insane Twilight of the Republic
Ooh.
mat. I have
Dude,
high
the mat.
ground.
The mat is so sick.
Yeah, the mat's
Oh,
there.
You should just do the entire pod from behind the mat.
we have a sick thumbnail with that art that I need to collaborate with you on a video.
Yeah.
But I have it, and I just don't know what that video is going to be. Sometimes you do the thumbnail before the video. Dude, yeah, there's a lot of good tactics, man.
All right,
Cool.
next guy I want to talk about is Quinlan. Justin, you're on mute. I don't know if you know that you're on mute or not, but Quinlan is a leader that I'm pretty hyped about. I think that flipping on 5 for a 3/7 alone, just 7 HP flip on 5 resources, is busted. If he was blank, I would still be talking about him.
Yeah.
What he does is sort of the thing that, Maddie, you were doing with Boba 2, which is just like trade up, like be able to attack for +1 when you come in with an ambush unit, and he lets you kind of do that and kill the things that have been problematic. Think about the guys that are so hard to kill. A Sabine right when she flips, a Tech, a Boba right when he flips, a leader, just like always having the guys that have bigger booties at that stat level. With the right ambush unit, Quinlan takes them out and can play at parity, and he's really hard to kill too. So
yeah, I love a leader like this, man. I think that's another good call.
He's also
and
like
he can wear
yellow
equipment well.
Yellow white is like a color combination that yellow hero, cunning hero is a color combination that's very strong and also has like really strong cards coming out in set 3 with it. There's about like 5 or 6 cards like Plo and Clear the Field and R2. There's a whole Ahsoka. There's a whole bunch of those cards that are really great. I agree. I think the 5 cost 7 booty's huge. His I'm not sure everyone knows who he is. I think if he was like an Obi, he'd be more of a centerpiece of like the marketing for this set.
It is
sort of
a great point, Jeff.
I have no clue who he is.
Yeah,
I wish
he's like probably going to be one of the best leaders in the set. And this is such a nitpick, but it is true. Like you could have given that to someone with a little more recognition.
Obi Force Jedi Republic, like it's the same traits. Cunning, like Obi-Wan was very cunning. He wasn't just like a blue card. It would have been awesome if this was just Obi, like just if they had just swapped these two.
Yeah, and I think they did Quinlan because Quinlan has like basically dates Ventress in the books, like they're together sort of, but it's like tumultuous because the light versus dark thing. He's a cool like character because he was a background character in episode 1. And they just made Phantom Menace, and they just made a character out of him, like basically out of like saying that's a cool looking guy in the background, which like I can appreciate, but also like agreed. Like if you're gonna make the best stats that we can get, can you put it on someone cool? And the other thing, Justin's like, they are getting all those awesome yellow cards. There have been other great yellow hero cards. What there hasn't been is an even remotely playable yellow hero leader for the most part. So like finally get one, and it's
I think just want to go back to one. Yeah, Han 1, but
yeah, all right. So Han 1 is a play. Yeah, all right. I take that back, but he is not.
He's a very different.
He's
a little different.
Right.
He's
Han 1's sick, but there is like there's an
saying.
inherent deck style with that like if you don't want to play that style of like this kind of risk reward, like losing cards to gain advantage, like then you're kind of locked out. Like you're not going to play Jin Urso. So like to Mike's point, like there is Han and he is sick, but he is like a very linear style. And if you wanted to play like something else, you're kind of like out of luck.
Yeah, and he's not
I just want to go back to one of Mike's other points that he just said right now. He's like, Quinlan is getting this prominent role because he dates Ventress, which in my mind, like Ventress somehow has pull with FFG, and she's like, "That's my boyfriend." Put him on a good card. It's like, what exactly does that mean?
I guess like if everyone loves Ventress, and a lot of people do, like it makes sense. Like satisfy the horde, the Ventress horde.
my boyfriend put him on a good one.
So those were my cards that I was hyped for, and then the hype that you guys have been saying, like Maddie gave me these, which I thought would be a nice feed in for
Yellow
Quinlan
white.
because
Right.
these are great cards to play in Quinlan. So Maddie, why are you
Right.
hyped about these?
Yeah, so I've been testing a lot of Quinlan. I think he's really solid. I think that there's a couple good versions, like obviously like Tarkentown pairs well with him, but like just ECL. And so like you can ECL in Sabine, and a big problem with like, when you're making that move, like taking that 5 health and like ECLing something that's not like gonna end the game like a wreck or something, it can get kind of traded back really easily. And Sabine just shuts the door on that. And then if you were able to hit the on attack, then she's like got kind of Death Trooper vibes where she's able to even get a little crazier. So like the reason why like I like these cards also in with Quinlan is like now when we're building decks, we're starting to build in lines, and one of the sickest lines is like Sabine ping with Quinlan, take out the Sabine leader. So like, how am I gonna pair my deck into the opposition? And then like Plo with coordinate is able to take out Boba, right? Because it's the ping plus the raid 3 if you have coordinate, and which is not super hard to like. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's still very doable, especially when you deploy your leader on 5 as
Right, I was
well.
just about to say that you get your leader, and you got cards like R2 that just stick around. So
Yep,
all you need
exactly.
is one unit and your leader not to die on instantly.
Yep.
Up into 5. So that seems really
Yeah, and the
reasonable.
7
Yeah.
is what makes that possible.
And
but
like
yeah,
the thing
being
that
able to go to 7 on 5
is
resource
insane.
attack and 5 on a 4 resource attack is really hard to find in this game.
I 100% agree. And the other thing too is like the issue like I've had with coordinate is not that like it might be hard to do. It's that like some of the payoffs like don't even make sense. Whereas like this one is extremely
Well,
strong and makes sense. Whereas like another one, and I get it, there has to be draft chaff, but it's like it's a 3-cost 2/4 that if you have coordinate gets sentinel, it's like we already have 3-cost 2/4 sentinels. Like what is yeah, it has a better tagline. So like
Yeah,
that's been my issue with coordinate, and then this like Plo is like the use case for like why coordinate can be cool. You know what I mean? Like this is why you would play it. So yeah, I think those cards are insane. I think Sabine also like she wears equipment well. Like you can, when you're getting into these race situations, like you blast her for 6, and they're like, if they don't play bounce or something, like they're kind of looking at her like, how do I deal with this thing? And it has that Ty Lurking Phantom vibe to me.
she's like the inverse of Lurking Tie. She can't be ambushed. She can be removed with a spell.
Right.
And waylay is just for everyone.
Yeah, got to be playing your waylays.
Any thoughts on these, Steve?
No, I dig it. I think they covered a lot of the base. I'll be really interesting to see if people can build a equipment type base deck around Sabine, similar to like you guys are talking about TIE Phantom, and just like smashing in or like pumping her up really big.
Yeah, there's that new card too that you can slam on people to make it so they can't be bounced, which is cool.
One thing I'll say about like Plo and Quinlan is an interesting line that's going to come up like strategically is like Quinlan flipping versus not flipping to
Right.
activate Plo, and then like killing Quinlan, which would then make Plo like kind of really bad. Like imagine if Boba has like a 4 attack unit out or something like that, and you're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get my Plo to kill him on sight, and they like surprise strike or something like that.
Yeah.
I can see that being a thing of like stopping that for a turn because your whole deck is designed to be like exactly get
Gamos
them.
are coming
Thing.
back, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why
Camo
we
would
love
be
Gamos. It's just like
Yeah.
they kill 7.
Sentinel.
They kill 7.
Rush
They have
Clovis
Sentinel to
can
stop
be
this kind of stuff.
attacking and doing some stuff.
Ooh, Rush.
Clovis attacks for 5, baby. Blast it.
Love to see it.
And then here's one of Justin's that is also yellow, also works really well with Quinlan because he's so hard to kill right when he flips. You do have an opportunity to pull something with one of his traits, which, Jedi is a good one. Justin, what were you thinking when you've been brewing with this?
Yeah, so basically my big sort of aha moment with this card was that I soured on it a lot when I was like, okay, it's gonna go with the leader, it's gonna go with a Jabba, and then I'm gonna play like a 8-drop early or 7-drop early. I'm actually really excited about playing it on turn 2. And sometimes. So this is what I think of this card is that the majority of the time it's not going to be that great. But if you're able to go 2-drop, let's say in Boba is the most obvious, you theme it off of Underworld. You play all turn 1 plays that are Underworld, but 13 or something, you up it a little bit. And then because you want all these 5-drops like Zuckuss and Bosk and Syndicate lackeys, when you draw this card paired with any of the 5-drops, which you're going to have a bunch of, you'll have at least 9 in your deck. You just get to play a 5-drop on turn 2. So like basically you get to do 2 resupplies for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And like the games where you just, especially Zuckuss on turn 2, just seem like you just are going to, that's just like such a broken thing. Going back to Magic where you're able to like play a Black Lotus, like you're not, mana ramping, but you're playing it like one thing, and it's just like this awesome
ritual
thing
style
out there. That's going to be like something like, you think like Affinity gets to do all this stuff early. So I think this card's going to be really good there. And I think, Boba's the one that I've been the most excited about doing it with. Because it's got a lot of synergy. Jabba does find it. He would be in the deck, and you could do it later with like the new Cad Bane and Maul as well.
Right.
So it's not totally dead, but like I think you just have to embrace, like you're playing a 47 card deck where 1 out of every 6 or 7 games you're just going to draw this little mini combo on turn 2, and you're going to do something really broken. And then it might have other aspects. The other side of it is I think I like it in or I do like it in decks with R2 that have a lot of Republic. There's some sort of stepping stones there, but I think the 2 to 5 thing, or the changing your turn 2 play to a 5 cost play, 5 resource play, is really strong. And then you still want the ability to like only have a leader, and then play some 7s. So playing, for instance, Mace, Maul, Cad Bane are the 3 that I'm really excited about. Sort of jumping those guys out early, because you can play with this card. You can play like a turn 3 Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can play resupply on turn 2, and then Boba, and then play like have an early Boba turn with a Maul, which is insane.
That's sick.
I think it.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was just saying, I think it's real interesting too in what you're talking about, because you look at Boba Green and how little 4-drops they actually play, and the deck is already kind of built going from like 3 to 5 resources.
Mm-hmm.
So you already can naturally just slide this in, and without having to really curtail your curve too much to accomplish what you're trying to do, Justin.
Yeah, I like that. And
the list I have is like, it looks like a regular Boba deck. I think I had like I had one that like didn't have super laser tech, but it did have resupply, but it just didn't feel like I still had all the cards that I wanted. Like I think I had like 1 less blaster, and I had like 1 less No Good to Me Dead or something like that. Or maybe I didn't have 7 Fleet Defender, because that card's kind of awkward with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like awkwardly sticks around, and it's not your theme. But yeah, it's cool, and you get to like do really cool things with like Salacious Crumb and McClunky too, where if you draw 2 of these cards, that's the one thing I like about this in Boba that kind of puts it over the other side, is like if you ramp in with like say R2 into like an Anakin, which is super cool, it's going to be harder to sort of get to the next level, because you still want to be like playing units and stuff like that. But with the Boba deck, you can do like McClunkies and bouncing your own cards, so bounce back. So oftentimes you'll have like only 1 unit out.
That's a great point.
It's really cool with Jabba on a lot of levels.
Yeah, I like also that you can
trick 2.
You can go like Steve said, Boba doesn't really have 4-drops or too many, but you can go from like Fleet Defender right into Fire Spray for the 4 resource turn, which is cool.
Spicy.
Not 7th Fleet,
not Fire Spray.
But yeah, you could have an Underworld out, 1 Underworld out, and go into Fire Spray. Right?
Well,
on 4
no,
resources.
non-vehicle.
Oh, it's non-vehicle. I always forget that. My bad.
Yeah, and it's funny. The Fire Spray is like still in the deck, but I'm like, do we cut it and like play like a it's like a 6-drop, like a Bounty Hunter Crew or something like that. But it's not worth it.
I think the shout to Underworld 2 is good, because like you can put like crafty smugglers kind of survive, or like I was looking at like if you did it in Hero, you could do like crafties and leets. And then
for Tuna is really cool, making it cost less. If you do like turn 1 Bib, you could. The thing is, there's no like 6-drop to do the next turn.
Yeah.
You turn 3 Maul if you do Bib, which is pretty sick. Just that way without a resupply. So Bib's another way that does it. Cad Bane, like playing a Cad Bane on like 7 resources is like cool, But by that point, like the game sort of stabilized a lot. If you just play a Cad Bane on like turn 3 and they have like 2 units out, and you just like
Take them both.
Wrath of God when you have a 7/7,
It's insane.
you draw 2 cards when you free their like 2-drop. Like
this with
that's
Cad just seems absolutely stupid.
yeah, I'm super excited about just playing this, and I think the big thing embracing it, like yeah, you draw it later in the game. It's like drawing a resupply when you've already used resupply or laser tech terrain. You just resource it and you just embrace it. You're not trying to do weird things. You're not like trying to kill your own units or McClunky like a Bosk because like just
Just
play it at normal.
still play the game. Don't spin your wheels trying to make it
Yeah,
mad.
but you know what's a cool thing is playing Zuckuss on turn 2 and then just playing a 4-lom is pretty sick.
That's
Like
great.
Zuckuss
Yeah.
with
Oh,
four
right.
Lom
Yeah,
is
yeah.
cool.
Comes in
Like they,
second.
they're looking at figuring out ways to do something, and you're just like, okay, now he's a 7/7, and I attack with his 5/5.
Yeah, you follow it. You do it like the opposite way. That's cool.
Right.
All right, next card is Maddie, another one of yours, Huyang.
Yeah,
Jedi.
I
What?
freaking love. I love Huyang, man. Like I like that. He can go in villainy or hero, and he's like a little like kind of like a fleet, not a wing leader. He's like this 3 cost +2/+2, where that has to be dealt with. It's gonna let your guys trade up. Like I love that about this game. Like when your 2-drop can effectively take out their second turn play, their 3 resource play. That's going to leave you in good shape. Pairs with some of the coordinate cards. And then like I was looking at some crazy like Kira lines with like the shielded Hylabons. Like you shield a Hylabon on turn 1, then you play Huyang the second turn, and now you're just
5
cooking.
attack, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty aggro.
So yeah, like I know people are taking out Hylabon to try things, but I'm like, well, actually, I think he could even be better now with this Huyang thing. So there's a lot of applications.
yeah, you could shield
This
him
is like a
too.
good value
I'd
card.
love to see more aggro out of Kira, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And you can put a general saber on it and get cooking.
What is this guy from, Mike?
He's from the Clone Wars. He's from my favorite episodes of the Clone Wars. The when Ahsoka takes all the younglings to find their lightsabers on Ilum.
Oh, yeah.
Which becomes Starkiller Base.
He's that guy who's like leading her.
He was in the Ahsoka show
And
too,
then he
right?
was in the Ahsoka show. Yeah, he was the droid that was with her and Sabine training them on the ship. He was like the third lead. David Tennant.
Wait, Ahsoka hangs out with Sabine?
In the future,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
In
Dude,
Rebels,
I'm way behind on my
in
thing.
Rebels. The like, not to spoil
It's like
the
her
finale
master-
of Rebels,
master
but
friend.
like, yeah, and they like the final shot of the series is like them teaming up.
Cool.
To go like solve a mystery, and then then this Ahsoka show is all about her and Sabine and Huyang.
Huyang fucks.
Yeah,
so
he does. I love the Jedi trait. Yeah, being able to carry the General Saber is really a cool lore. He's the guy who helps every Jedi build their lightsaber. He's the Ollivander of lightsabers. He remembers
that's cool.
every lightsaber.
That's a
ever
sick
built.
reference.
Wait,
That's a great.
that's
one.
super sick then, and that makes sense why he like General Blade on him is like goated.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's it's one of the best early applications for that card, right? Other than like Guardian of the Wills, which is super fragile. So then you just plop him on Huyang.
They always knock lore like right out of the park with this game, but also just like he's the guy that trains he's like the Jedi teacher, and then he makes everyone +2/+2 because he teaches them up.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I think he's a good card. I'm excited to throw him in a bunch of decks.
Yeah, he's gonna be so highly played because of how like he goes and everything. And I got one right here.
Yeah,
because
like, granted, like he's a green card, but like one of the things that people went on a like divergence with in the early like Han 1 deck, right? It was like, do you play the good stuff or do you play the rebel? Or like, when we're going into Sabine now, it's like, do we want to go good stuff or we want to keep rebels? Huyang lets you kind of lean into the good stuff more, which is a good value play if you're playing the good stuff and you get like your own kind of mini wing leader.
Yeah.
So.
All right, next up is Steve's card, Yoda Leader, and you said you were excited to pair this with You're My Only Hope.
Yes, sir. Kind of touching upon what Justin was talking about earlier with there are only 2 of them, cheating, getting around the natural curve in this game, I think is important. We saw the strength of Han 1 and what he's able to do by ramping. So I think any type of combination of cards that lets you get ahead on the board resource-wise, you're inevitably going to be able to control the board a little bit better. So I really like the Yoda leader in the set. I mean, a little dumpy that he's a 7 deploy because it's so late in the game, but I think his ability is really strong. And pairing that ability with You're My Only Hope, I think can be absolutely bonkers. I've been working on a red-blue list right now where the goal is trying to get Poe out on turn 2. So through your 3-resource turn, if your 2-drop trades with their 2-drop or dies to their 2-drop or kills it or whatever, on your turn you get to activate Yoda's ability. And if you have a Poe in your hand, or even the 5-drop Ray I've been thinking works really well too, because that restore ability on her helps her stick around. But you're able to manipulate your deck, and it's kind of like a built-in brainstorm. So think about brainstorming, putting a card on the top, and then playing Dark Confidant. That was broken in Magic for years, and this kind of combination lets you get to do that. And You're My Only Hope doesn't necessarily have to be jammed out on 3. Like with the blue-red we saw with Ray this set, it's a great option for some lame great things. Early Obi-Wan, you can even jam out an early crate. It doesn't necessarily have to happen on turn 2, the 3-resource turn. At any point in time when you're gaining two resources, you can drop something bigger. And it seems in testing so far, I mean, I'm not hitting it always on turn 2, but I am consistently being able to cheat things out with You're My Only Hope because of Yoda's ability.
That's sick.
Yeah, and because we focus and constructed on cards that have insane enter the play abilities like Luke, even Ambush, like Mace Windu, there are a lot of guys, you can use this just to play a guy that's going to take over the game immediately. Especially the Luke. Luke is kind of crazy when you can trade into something and then play this early and use Luke to kill whatever they just played in between. Seems like it's really sick.
It just ends up being really versatile too, and the fact that you are playing a slow leader against decks like Sabine and things like that, running out Redemption 2 turns early, just healing up a bunch, that will allow you to survive until you actually get to play Yoda. And his come into play ability himself is really strong.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's cool.
He's gonna help flip corners, then his restore will claw you back. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah,
It's just gotta build the deck that can get him there.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else about Yoda before we move on to some Qs? Some Qs and As?
No.
Get to the Qs. Get to the A's.
Oh, wait. No, we have to talk about Infinite Combo. Forgot about this.
The Nambo.
The Nambo. This is so there's an Infinite Combo in Star Wars Unlimited right now, and it involves a lot of cards. It involves having Sandhill out, having
TI 84.
Yeah, we got the 84. Can you program this and can you reskin Drug Runner to be Infinite Combo Breaker in the
battery
games?
is low.
So you need Trench, Maudie, another random guy, and Sandhill. And the idea is you play another Trench, sacking Maudie, Trench, and the Super Battle Droid. When you sack Maudie, you ready Sandhill. You attack with Sandhill for 3, and he readies resources for each unit defeated that turn. So the first time he does this, he'll ready 3 resources, and that'll allow you to essentially, I think you might need Sand ready. The thing is, it gets really convoluted on how you replay everything, but you need 9 resources. So he readies 3. You replay Maudie, you replay Trench, sacking the Maudie. And but the key is, once you do this twice, Sand then untaps your whole resource row. So then you can just keep sacking Trench and Maudie to get Trench and Maudie back and replay them. But the key is getting Sand to untap your whole row. That's sort of the trick. And there's some other ways to do this, because we can use Clone to find other pieces of the puzzle, especially the extra Trench. We can use the Reanimator card now that plays a card ready. I forget the name of that card off the top of my head. I had it up earlier. To get a piece of the puzzle in here, possibly from the discard pile if someone tries to disrupt it. It does go off really, really late in the game because of how many resources you need. But one thing that I haven't explored, and it's just going to take some time, is how early you can do it by sacking other things like battle droids or whatever it is to just get that Sand Hill untap, the resource readying online fastest.
So how do you actually win?
You attack with Sand Hill infinite times. until they could be at
Gotcha.
10,000 and you just get to do
Because
it.
he's right. Yeah.
Because he's
Yeah.
readying, and then he's readying all your resources, and you need 2 trenches and a Mahdi, and like to start with, you just need any other guy, so that when San attacks that first time, he readies 3, and you can do it again.
The issue I would say with this combo is it looks great, but how do you beat General Grievous with 4 lightsabers? Because you've got 4 units here, and they're all going to be defeated
Yeah, well, you figured out the counter.
by my combo.
There's a lot of the thing is it happens so late in the game. It's so disruptible. The important thing to note, I'm not saying like this is going to go win anything, but the important thing to note is that now we have the pieces possible. So when things like reanimator cards come into play, or we get into these late control game matches and people aren't ready for it, there is a world where these cards are like Mahdi, Trench, and San are just in a deck that when the stars align and you can reanimate them because the green and yellow have reanimator cards, that it is somewhere in, like, it can even beat the mill decks, which are trying to mill you because they're putting all your things into your graveyard. It's just like very classic. It's important that we know an infinite combo exists so that as more cards come out or more situations come out that we might be able to execute it, we're aware and potentially deploy it.
So it could theoretically come out with, if you had 3 units just out, like say you had like just a lot of tokens, right? Like there's just, you're trying to delay it to the point where you get tokens. You could do it with really just the top 3 cards. Like you would always have it because you could just play Mahdi for 2, and then you could even like start with it.
The key is you need to loop trenches. So like when you play a trench, he dies and then he immediately gets himself back. But you can do that with clone too.
All you need is those top 3 cards.
Yeah, but you need 2 trenches.
He can't exploit.
He can exploit himself when you play him. But he needs to be in the graveyard to get back with Trench.
I see.
But that's why
I'm
clone,
lost.
That's why clone.
But that's
works.
okay.
It's okay. You need to loop your trenches so you always have one in play, and that one is returning the other one that just died.
Yeah, that seems hard to be based on like the 2 copies type thing. Obviously, like the clone thing's nice,
And
but
the
that
reanimator
seems
cards.
tricky.
The reanimator cards also get it popping. It no doubt it's tricky. I don't expect this to win very many games,
Yeah,
if any games at all. But what I want people to know is that it exists.
It's a thing that
and
exists.
It's a thing. And honestly,
it's all subterfuge.
there's
He already
people
broke it.
there's
He
people
knows
with
how it
bigger
works.
there's people with bigger combo brains than I, for sure.
Yeah.
That will probably crack this a little bit better. But I think that all the pieces are there, and I wanted to shout it out
That's cool.
on the pod. Now we can talk about listener questions. Matt, are you talking? Because I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I muted my mic. That's fine. I had said the clones, and then the other thing I was going to say really quick was it's important to have those things in the game, even if they're convoluted, for the points you said, but also, like, I just think of, like, growing up playing Magic, like, kids around the kitchen table, like, someone wants to have a combo deck. Like, I think that's healthy, even if it's kind of stupid just for, like, or inefficient just for the validity of the game. Like, I think those things need to exist.
This could end up being like
Twin Suns
broken
viable?
Twin Suns. Yeah, that's who knows?
Yeah.
But it's out there, and it's something that the game didn't have and now has. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, we have 1,191 paid subscribers right now.
Dang.
Absolutely crazy.
1,200.
It's been fluctuating around the high 1,100s. Not quite cracking 1,200 yet, but
Welcome to the new crew.
Were we up 99 in 2 weeks?
no, I don't know what the plus is. It's just kind of like random.
It's like a trending.
That's just copy and pasted right from the thing. But there's no way to edit that out. All right, so Adam G, one of our locals, he has a question about motivation. PQ season is upon us. It's technically almost over. And with that, some players may be putting up results they're not satisfied with, leading to frustration, other sorts of feelings about themselves in the game. You ever hit a negative slump, losing motivation, not having fun, etc.? Playing either SWU or past card games, or what have you found as a good method to rekindle your interest in the game?
I'll start.
I wear my lucky boxers.
Steve's got a wardrobe thing. I think it's just embracing that it's very natural to feel this way, no matter what level of success you're having or staging. If you're like a 20-year vet or a first-year vet, you're probably going to feel like, oh man, I'm just not good enough at some point. Get frustrated at your results. I think the one thing you have to do is just embrace the addiction, knowing that like leaving is just really, really hard, and like you're probably going to want to, like, if you say I'm done with this, right? You said I can't win, I'm done. Like, Are you though? In a month from now, you're probably going to be like checking in at the spoiler season and be like, "Oh, this deck looks cool. Maybe I'll bring it with my friends." And so sort of understanding that a lot of us are just ingrained card players, and then embracing the fact that like really really good players can win a tournament and then not do so well. And that's just a thing. Like Mike, you've been winning every tournament you went to, and you top aided the first PQ to PQ, and then you just got 2 bad matchups last time.
Yep, right to O2.
So I don't think you just embracing this as a normal thing. Like if this isn't you, it's like self doubts. But like this is the thing that we've all done.
Mhm.
I remember sort of history lesson in 2001. I remember thinking when Mike over Christmas break, I was like, why aren't we good at this? Like why aren't we winning? And that was right before the KTOD started. It was like three months before, and we just sort of looked at it and just revamped our own processes. We like took down some norms that we had. We were like, what if you just play a whole in the game we played, like what if you just play like way less characters, which were the units in that game? And then we had some success. We had a tremendous success trying new stuff and didn't lose many tournaments that year. So I think one sort of extra thing is just revamp, like do things you're not comfortable doing. You know what I mean? That's the thing I would say.
The other thing I was gonna say is like, did you get any of my like background or no?
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's why we're laughing.
Yeah. Okay. You see Tracy being like,
Right.
yeah. Okay.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well,
It all
The
makes sense
sacrifices
now,
we're
man. It all
making for
makes
the
sense.
KTOD
yeah.
content.
I like that you also like threw shout out to like how the KTOD started, right? Like you made those changes, and then like that is how the Kashyyyk train of dominance came about. But the thing I was gonna bring up was like, it's tough, right? Because there's so few PQs, but like in a general, and I'd say this all the time, but like in a general season or whatever, there's gonna be a bunch of events you go to, PQs, 1Ks, showdowns, whatever. And like you said, like you're not gonna win them all. Like all you can do is put yourself in a position to succeed. And that's why like I really emphasize like not having results goals, because like then you have nothing to kind of draw on. But like if you have, those process-based goals, that's such a good way to do it, because like you're gonna hit bad matchups, you're gonna do whatever. But if you like have these like little light posts to hold on to, I think that's like such a good thing for your mental, and that's something that I talked about in my tournament prep one. I'm sure Mike did as well in his.
Yep, that's perfect segue into the chart
Yeah.
that it's right here.
Oh, baby.
This is the strategies outcome matrix that I took from Mike Flores' article on Magic years ago. And it's like, do you have positive outcomes and do you have positive strategies? Great job. You did it. Do you have negative strategies and negative outcomes? Well, you probably get you deserved. But if you have positive strategies and negative outcomes, were you just unlucky? Try again. If you think you're right, keep working towards it.
Yeah.
I try and put everything in this paradigm so that I don't ever worry about luck. Like, or like, last week I went 0-2, but I think I made the right call. And I like look at all the rate games that I tested, and I look at all my matchups, and I still feel great about it. And like, yeah, I went 0-2, but I think I just got a little unlucky. I would still re-sleeve Ray up today. And it is depressing to go 0-2. I've gone 0-2 many times in my life, and I will go 0-2 again. But I'm not going to like, only one person can win. And if you're just playing this game only to win, then I have bad news for you. Only one person gets to win every day. And it's usually a different person every time. So you're just not going to win them all.
And this game does have, which is good. The better games have variance a bit. Marshall's in the house. It's not a full skill component. Like you're going to have that variance where you can play better and lose based upon variance. Like variance can be the equalizer.
Which does lead us into the question. I guess I was going to use the chart for this question, but what do you actually chalk up to variance? What are the metrics you use? And Vaxion gave an example of like the guy had a perfect curve in Sabine, and he kind of had like a clunker in Kira. And to me, I just kind of outlined it, but it happens. Like you're just not going to win every game, and like if your deck is built the right way and you get a clunker hand, and the aggro deck, you never interact with it, like maybe you kept a bad hand, or maybe you got unlucky on them all.
Yeah, I think the key is like just being real with yourself and knowing like what was under my control, and how did my own decisions affect it? Like, if you mulliganed the ship you needed because you didn't like the rest of your hand, or you got greedy and you got you put your finger on the stove and it got burned, okay. But if you mulliganed and you got what you got, like you had an unplayable hand, you mulligan, they get the nuts, like that's card games and that's variance. And the other thing you could look at though is if this is something that's happening a lot, is it a deck construction thing, or did I pick the wrong deck for this event? Like, you know what I mean? Like going back to Mike's, got the 2 bad matchups. Those were literally the only boss green in the room and one of very few, blue control decks versus if he got those matchups and the whole room was those, it's okay.
Yeah, then
you know what I mean?
Choice, but everywhere I looked, it was Sabine. I was like, oh man,
yeah,
just
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the important
a lot of
note.
A-wings.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
I was gonna say it's a lot of A-wings guys playing.
I think the
Deck
important
check
thing
is
to
not playing
note
50
is
A-wings.
if it wasn't for variance, we'd win every time. So for the sake of community, it's probably a good thing that variance exists.
I love that you're just in the full unsolved mystery.
Dull
He's
darkness.
doesn't want to reveal his
Right.
identity.
Oh, I'm loving this. By the way, this might be a staple going forward.
Inspector Gadget, or the Colombian drug lord with the voice thing, where they're like, oh.
This one's from our dude Hob, who I know from my Legion days. He's was a prominent Legion judge. I think sportsmanship is a real issue for any competitive game, and we as numpties have a pretty big responsibility to be good sports if we're going to talk about ourselves as a group, 1,200 people, basically saying we're the competitive group. So that's kind of what I love this question, the call out on can we be pro sportsmanship. I'd like the pod to speak about being positive influences on the game's beginning culture so we can avoid sportsmanship problems that have pushed people away from MTG and Yu-Gi-Oh! In my experience. And I've seen nothing but great sportsmanship in the Discord. We have 1,200 people. We had the guys that faced each other in the PQ where Sabine beat Han Yellow in the finals, and Eekfoil and Blake both in the Discord, and talking about how great they were, and same just all the time people saying, oh, I played you in round 8, it was great to meet you, good job, way to beat me. Everyone is in the same boat when we're in this Discord and we're working towards winning, and we know that we're also, by working together, making other people better. So if you're going to do that, you just can't expect to win everything, and if you're not going to expect to win anything, you better be a good sport about that reality that is about to happens.
I want to jump in quick before my son starts talking. I gotta mute. This would be my call to action. People like Hob and people in the Discord have been so great. Go and spread that. Take those vibes out into the Twitch chats that can be toxic for no reason, or when you hear casters that are tearing people down. Let's get them out of there, man. This is all about competing and camaraderie, and we're all people. We get stressed under camera, or we just have a mental lapse. Let's be kind to ourselves and each other, and let's have fun competing with each other. What's the point if you can't have that? It ruins the integrity of the game, and it ruins the whole process. So I used to play a lot of D&D, and that's a collaborative game, and you're always thinking about how can people at my table enjoy themselves, even though you're competing, there's the trenches, and then there's what happens after, and we're so lucky that the Discord is sick. Go keep doing that, and hold everyone to a higher standard of being good to each other, because that's how good things keep rolling.
What were you gonna say, Steve?
I think I was gonna comment on Maddie's comment about the toxicity of some Twitch streams, especially after last week's PTQ. But I want to try to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, I just
in
think
a positive attitude, like my boy Hob says.
Yeah, if streamers are only tearing people down, no one's gonna want to be on stream or even watch streams. So it's just not. I don't know
and
what
it's
you're doing
easy
that
to
for.
be toxic from the comfort of your own keyboard, but we'll see everybody at Worlds. It'll all be good.
Sounds good. Justin, anything to add?
Yeah, I think overall, I think it's, you shake hands when you lose. It always hurts to lose, but you shake hands and we're really competitive. But I think we're never going to not shake someone's hand, and we're going to, offer good graces in the end of the game. And if we lost based upon a hand where someone drew like incredibly well, and we felt like this wasn't our day, you just got to embrace it and kind of put it on. I do think that, like, I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I do think that, like, some of these things are just like outdated assumptions about communities. Like, I actually always had good experiences with the Magic
Yeah, I had
community.
very few
Like,
bad experiences.
very
There were a
few bad
couple.
ones. And I think it's easy to say, like, oh, I went to F&M 20 years ago and got cheated by someone who was really verbally abusive or what have you. But, like, I think, the world's
The
changed
world's
and
so evolved.
people
Yeah.
are, welcoming in these spaces. They
Especially
want
the
people to
gamer
play.
space.
Like, we're doing our best. We're not perfect, obviously, but we're trying to get people, to feel good about playing the game because everyone wants it to keep going.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Stan, I'm looking to spend more time doing early testing at set 3 cards since I can't make PQs for set 2. How do you guys go about testing, investigating, and or organizing yourselves to get better, to get the most out of your time when trying out new cards and decks? This is a tough one.
I think
Go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say, I think the system you've kind of that Mike has kind of employed or took the lead on within our own testing Discord threads has been really well. Like the fact that we all have like dedicated channels for specific things that each of us are working on. That way, anybody can pop in and out whenever they want, and it's like very similar to all of the deck threads that are in the public Discord. We kind of mirror that in a sense within our own group and some ideas that each of us want to work on personally. But I think the fact that there's a space to collaborate is just like huge.
Yeah, and carrying on with that is, you can't do all the work. So like being open-minded and being willing to be willing to go into those other threads and listen to what other people are saying and like take them at their word and say like, okay, I'm going to start here. You already kind of eliminated these things. I'm going to take you at your word and go forward from there. And if that's not working, I'll probably loop back to these things that you cut. But I think like keeping an open mind and trusting the people in the community that have been putting in work is a good way to get ahead.
Yeah, I think in terms of the spoiler season too, like you can look at some cards and recognize like where that they actually have some potential, and there's some cards like it's not like it's 200 cards and every card needs to be vetted the same way. And that, like, if you go at leaders, like we've identified Quinlan as being something. Now it's like maybe you guys look at that and you say, hey, this actually seems really good, and maybe there's a leader out there that like wasn't that good, right? Like maybe Grievous is more like a fun leader, but not necessarily a competitive one. There's certain cards that are just clearly very powerful, or that can clearly do a very powerful thing if they actually work, if we pull it off enough times. Like the card we were talking about earlier, now there are two of them card, but then there's cards like R2. Like what does that do to like a yellow Sabine deck, right? Like is it now green Sabine's kind of had the lead there? Is yellow Sabine? That's something personally I'm looking at. It's like yellow's getting a lot of really powerful cards. How does that impact yellow Sabine? How does that impact a yellow leader like Quinlan? How's that going to work? What are some really, really powerful broken things I can do? Whether it's the combo deck, is that something we should even look at, right? Like, is it actually something that pops up every so often? Is it a 47 card deck in Mahdi, right? Is it just an exploit deck? And I just have Mahdi, so if I draw him, I can just kind of go off. So, like, understanding that and having fun exploring things is really good. And then also just, like, recognizing that sometimes things don't work. Like you try and it's like, oh man, that really wasn't good. I posted in our threads, like I really like Ray Yellow, like Delver bounce things, and it just wasn't as good as the Han deck that does that. So don't be afraid to get roadblocked.
Yeah, one thing that I do too is like, we talked earlier about like when a deck has like the right time, like the space deck, like we saw it early and then we play late. Like I think they're like individual cards have that a lot too. So what I do at the start of every set is I like overload my decks with the newer cards, so I know like the spots where I like them, or I can like get a feel for them, and then I kind of peel back a little bit. So that's kind of my process within a new set, is like air on the new cards, get them in situations, so I can get some of that muscle memory and like really vet them, and like it can be hard to like conceptualize how games play out sometimes, so just getting them on the felt and getting used to them. So like I'm building like Hantu Blue, and I have like Kiamundi in there. Like, is he gonna make it? Probably not. It's probably just Poe, but like I'm gonna try him first.
Marshall
Marshall likes that idea.
All right, and I
Let's
was
go.
gonna stop early, but how do you keep a balance between home life and all the content?
Oh boy, it's perfect.
You do here. We know it's happy life, and add in kids. Well, sometimes the kids are on your lap. Sometimes you have to stop podcasting for a couple hours and then pick it back up later. It's just like a whole mix. A lot of it for me is staying up after the family goes to bed.
Well, I think we're seeing this is the first time we haven't done a podcast at like 5 in the morning in a while, and we're seeing some of the residual impact there of like
Back to 5 a.m. wake
back
up
to
calls.
5 a.m. next week.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the balance is
Good
tough,
point.
but I mean, you guys, we have such a great community, and everyone seems so appreciative of what we do. I'll be honest with you. At first, when people would come up to me at tournaments and be like, "Oh, thank you for the content you put out," I was like, "This is really weird," but like that's what keeps us going,
Yeah, no doubt.
Sleep when you're dead.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it.
Don't say exactly, Steve. You go to bed at 7:30. Maddie, you can't say anything either.
Yeah, but I get up at like.
Hey, I was up
You guys might be
dancing at a
doing the
wedding
late night
till
stuff, but I do the early
12.
stuff.
Well, I get
I
to
do the early stuff too.
hang up here. I'm gonna
AKA
go
sleep when you're dead.
edit the podcast, cut the video for tomorrow, maybe make another video,
Take a
maybe do
nap.
some live streaming, and then I'm gonna show up late to my nephew's birthday parties. And then I gotta go to a memorial service, and I'll come home and probably finally play some set 3, maybe, if I have any energy left.
But yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
gotta go do projects around the house all day.
There it is.
Guys, we did 20 pods. That's crazy.
Yeah, number
That's
20.
wild.
And it's like bi-weekly, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, 40
For
weeks.
40
of fun.
weeks you've been doing it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right.
We got to get that live pod coming up.
Yeah,
soon,
we'll
though.
do a live one at some point.
Yeah.
Do it.
It has to be a good number, like 50 or 100. Oh, 100. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
Let's see.
okay.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
thanks for watching
We're-
or listening. We'll check you next time.
peace.